Hey, what's going on, guys? Tom Lloyd here with Tom Lloyd Jr. Fishing. I wanted to tell you guys about the most recent tournament at Logan Martin, the Bass Open, stop number 2 in the Central Division. Wound up finishing up 30th out of about 200 boats thereabouts. So really good finish, really tight finish. A lot of guys in that, right in that range that didn't really get separated by a lot of weight. So I was really happy to have what I had both days of the tournament. During the week of practice, I had a tough week from the standpoint of catching quality fish. You could catch a lot of numbers of fish, whether it was on the shad spawn or out deep, even up shallow. And, what happened for tournament day, in the opens, you have 4.5 days, I guess, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then half a day Wednesday to kind of get it dialed in. And we needed all of it. We fished every day, daylight to dark pretty much, and trying to figure it out, sampling a lot of the different parts of the lake, really from the dam all the way down at the lower end to about halfway up the river from takeoff, about halfway to Neely Henry up there. So really sampled a lot of the lake and tried to figure out what was going on. But during the tournament, I really just started focusing shallow. I was going to focus shallow and then run out to a deep spot and then jump back shallow again in the afternoon, or maybe even stay out deep. But what ended up happening day one, had a little over 11 pounds, closer to 12 pounds really, and I was able to catch some fish shallow, and then I ran to the deep stuff that I had found, and everything was gone. A lot of the spots that I had marked that had fish on them, that I'd caught fish on, whether it been on a crankbait, Carolina rig, Texas rig, all that stuff, didn't ever have a bite in like 3 hours out there deep, and wound up saying, scrapping that whole deal and heading back up the river to just get back to the shallow game. So, that's really what I love to do, is fish shallow. If it's an offshore thing, if they're deep out there, I like doing it. It's just if I have a choice, shallow or deep, I definitely would rather fish shallow. So then called up a couple times that afternoon, and then on the second day of the tournament, wound up catching 13.5 pounds. Had two really solid 4-pound fish or so, and that propelled me up into that 30 spot. So it was really only 2 pounds, about 3 ounces out of the top 10. So I was really pleased, not only with the tournament, but that couple pounds is just one decent coal one of the 2 days. I had in my bag the second day, I had a 1.6. Was the smallest fish, and in the bag the first day, I had quite a few 2 or 3 1-pounders in that 1.5 pound range. So just a solid fish, 3-pounder, 2.5-pounder really would have got it done. So in any event, wanted to run through a couple different things in the setups that I use this week. So each morning, I really started out throwing a bladed jig shallow. There was 2 different bladed jigs that I threw. This one here, as well as the Apex Shock Hunter. And this bait, the reason why I threw both of them is I was, in a little bit dirtier water with this chartreuse and white one here. And it also has a weed guard in it. I trimmed that weed guard down just a little bit, but there was a lot of floating grass, not floating grass, but grass that was growing up. And there was a lot of stuff floating on top of the water is what I was trying to get at. And with that weed guard, I felt like it helped me keep from, getting all that trash on my hook. It really helped with that weed guard. So you don't really find a lot of bladed jigs with a weed guard in it, but at Apex Tackle Co., check that out. They have one with a weed guard over there. Very good hunting action on the blade itself. But I paired that up every day, even on that chartreuse and white, as well as on this Clearwater shad, or this, I think it's spot remover. But I paired it up with a Bojangles Z-Daddy here. And really what that was all about, and the reason why I like this trailer, is it has a ton of action. Whether you put it on a swim jig, a football jig, whatever the case may be, it's got a ton of action there, as you can see on that bait. Very similar and it really makes that bladed jig, that those tails kick a lot. And I really like this color too. It's kind of a icy color to me. It's not real bright white, and in the water it kind of disappears a little bit. So on that clear water, that spot remover shad, that was really the deal. And whenever I wasn't around cover, I threw this one. It's just an exposed hook, and dipped the tails a little bit in chartreuse. But this Bojangle stuff really takes that dye really nice. You know, you can see on there that dip dye. It doesn't overpower it, but rather just gives it a little bit of extra flash and a little bit of extra color, as well as scent. So use that. What I like on that is, of course, the Spike It Dip and Glow. And I have that in my Ashmore Marine Products holder right there. Pretty sweet deal. But as far as the setup on this, I was throwing this on 20-pound Samurai, Daiwa Samurai fluorocarbon. I don't think that the line size really mattered. I was in some fairly off-colored water. I wouldn't call it dirty, but I threw 20-pound on that, just clear fluorocarbon. Have it on a Tatula SV reel, 8-to-1, and then on the big topwater Tatula Elite 7.4. This thing is a workhorse. If you're looking for just a all-around good rod, I love throwing a topwater on this, throwing a big spinnerbait on this, whatever size spinnerbait, a swim bait, obviously that bladed jig as well. So really, really good all-around rod there. Just like the action on it and the ability to just really get what you need. So, and then the second thing, once that sun got up, I went to flipping the brush hog, and what I was doing with this is just targeting those spots that had, you know, where I thought they were going to be spawning. So a lot of fish were spawning this week, and you notice that by, you know, the tails, obviously how they were eating the bait, and that's really what I noticed first, was how they were eating this bait. And this brush hog is a really, really good go-to for the spawn, because they hate these things. And it really mimics those lizards that are down there that allow, you know, that really eat those fish eggs. So what I was doing with this, though, is just flipping that around the laydowns, real shallow, around cut banks, things like that. And so what this allowed for is really to find those fish and make sure that you were getting that right where you needed it. So I always put a bobber stop on this. I was flipping a 3/8 ounce Apex tackle tungsten here. So the thing that I really like about this is it's chip free, as well as it has the size actually on the tungsten. So when it's in your box, you can see that one says 3/8 on it, and that's what I was using most all the week. But when it's in your box, you don't have to worry about grabbing the wrong size, matching them up, things like that. And then I was using a Gamakatsu G Finesse 4/0 hook, and I really like that for this particular bait. Again, using that dip dye on that green pumpkin brush hog. And one of the other really crucial things was this rod, reel, and line setup. So this is a Tatula 7.6 heavy flipping rod here, and a 8-to-1 gear ratio reel, Tatula SV. But you might notice this orange line. So this is actually a Sunline Power 2C, and what that means is that it has up the line, every so many inches here, the line goes from clear to that orange. And what I like about that, there's a 12-inch section of this orange, and I think it's 36 inches of clear fluorocarbon. But what I really like about that, especially during the spawn, is that you have, when you flip that in there, and what they were doing with this bait is they were just picking it up and carrying it off the bed. And so to make sure that you're watching your line, you can watch it with the clear, no big deal, but it really jumps out when that bait gets picked up with that orange line that's being carried off. So if you're a line watcher, check this line out. Again, Power 2C, and you can see just how orange that is on your rod. And it really helps you get those extra bites that you may or may not see just, you know, on a daily basis when you're flipping. If you're bush flipping, that's another good reason to utilize this line, because it really helps you detect those bites as soon as you flip that in there as well. So check all this stuff out. Appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned for some more. We're going to be heading to Lake Eufaula for the third stop of the Bassmaster Opens here in a couple weeks at the end of June. So check it out. Make sure you follow us. Give us a share if you don't mind here on the YouTube, as well as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that good stuff. So check it out, and we'll see you guys next time.